Hello friends, and welcome to the 12th episode of Dulcius Ex Asperis, where I bring you the news illustrated and in context. It's been a while since we talked. I've been working on another project to track the crazy blizzard of news. It's been taking up a lot of my time. Today, I had to remind myself that the purpose of this channel is not to give in to the noise, to not let the barrage of corruption and cruelty overwhelm me. So here I am, working my way through things with you all to get good at feeling bad, so I can still be here for my friends and my family and my community. For those unfamiliar with the format, we're going to cover some good news, do a deep dive on a couple of themes, and then finish up with some ideas for how you can help. Oh, and there's a reference to a song hidden in this intro. You can find it in the playlist. In our good news for this week, Trump is mostly losing in court. I don't want to downplay the confusion and chaos. This administration has caused a lot of harm, but the judicial branch is responding. The courts are stepping in to block things like arbitrary deportations and firings. That means our democracy is showing some signs of resilience, and that's a good thing. There's been so much AI news, it's hard for even techies to keep track of. You might be thinking you don't use any of these tools, you don't care. Well, they're being used on you. So we'll start with a very short explanation of what generative AI is, and then I'll give you some tips to navigate this new, slightly more dangerous universe. Generative AI can write essays, emails, create images based on prompts. These tools can even write songs or create videos. For the people that have embraced these tools, generative AI is a way to make their lives easier. And I don't want to be too harsh here, but the whole generative AI ecosystem has some big issues as well. Like the man behind the curtain, generative AI tools can be confidently incorrect. A Wired journalist recently tested Google's AI and discovered it was confidently declaring it was 2024 in May of 2025. And even as these tools are getting more powerful, these confident lies, often called hallucinations, are getting worse. And sometimes it's not even a hallucination. Some bad actors are using AI to generate realistic-looking headlines and images for things that never happened. Like this case of a fake news ring using AI to generate posts that echo Kremlin talking points. A lot of these posts went nowhere, but it only takes one high-profile person sharing a post that appeals to their pre-existing beliefs for something to go viral. The more engaging the content, the more likely it is to get boosted by someone. Examples of misleading AI content run the gamut from hallucinations mistakenly generated by an AI tool, to propaganda targeted to specific issues, to plain old negligence. Or sometimes it's all three. The White House recently released a long, sweeping report on making America healthy again. The report cited articles that don't exist. The report also distorted the message in some of the citations that did exist. This is incompetence. A report released by Health and Human Services ought to be trustworthy and carefully prepared. This is propaganda. RFK Jr. has consistently demonstrated he will cherry-pick evidence to support his conspiracy theory of the day. Under his leadership, Health and Human Services used AI to generate a report that tried to persuade everyone that his flawed theories are true. And it's negligence. Because whatever RFK Jr. actually believes, giving out bad advice at that level of government hurts people. His skepticism about well-established vaccines like the MMR vaccine has already cost the US dearly. As consumers of information, we only hear the booming voice of generative AI tools. We don't see the gears moving or the man behind the curtain. So what can you do? I'm not going to give you a laundry list of AI giveaways in images or text. The truth is, as generative AI tools get better, Those mistakes will get harder and harder to spot. The real solutions here are low tech. You need to build trust with people and institutions the old-fashioned way. If you're looking at a news site for the first time, read those articles more carefully. Ask questions. Look at other articles about the same event from other sources. Gather with other people in your community in ways that are hard to fake. A farmer's market, a gardening club, a makerspace. If you have to do Zoom calls, interact, ask questions, get to know people. That way, when social media posts come up, you have some idea who that person is and what they stand for. Ultimately, you can't know whether something is off unless you're building a connection with someone. This story has faded from the news a bit with everything else happening, so here's a refresher. The Trump administration deported Kilmar Garcia despite a judge's order expressly forbidding it. Then the administration tried to claim Garcia was an MS-13 gang member without any evidence. This led to an absurd moment in an ABC interview where Trump falsely insisted Garcia had MS-13 tattooed on his knuckles. When a Justice Department lawyer suggested fixing the government's mistake, he was fired. Garcia is still in a prison in El Salvador, despite multiple court rulings saying the government should be working to secure his release. Weeks ago, I was listening to a Republican being interviewed on NPR about Kilmar Garcia. The Republican said, and I'm paraphrasing here, "We shouldn't care so much because Garcia wasn't sympathetic." Sorry, I don't have a citation for that interview. It's been so many weeks and I've cited so many things since then. Anyway, the interviewee was referring to domestic abuse. Garcia's wife has acknowledged all of this in a public statement saying, "We were able to work through the situation privately as a family, including by going to counseling." And if you're like me, you're having feelings about these headlines. It's uncomfortable to hold all of this in your head at once. Let's play a game I like to call All of These Things Are True. Kilmar Abrego Garcia mistreated his wife, and his wife chose to stay with him. And I wouldn't have made the same choice. And he didn't deserve to be deported. And he doesn't deserve to be sitting in a prison in El Salvador. Those last two things should be the most concerning to you, because when the Trump administration says they don't need to listen to the courts in a deportation case, they're essentially saying they don't need to uphold habeas corpus. Habeas corpus means the government has to provide a justification for imprisoning or deporting someone. We take habeas corpus for granted here. It's only been suspended 4 times in United States history. Whatever your feelings about Garcia as a person, imagine what life would be like without habeas corpus. The government could throw anyone in prison or send anyone to another country for any reason at any time. Under any administration, that would be bad. Under this administration, it's terrifying. Trump pulled Dr. Fauci's security detail after Trump's verbal attacks made Dr. Fauci a target. Trump demanded an apology from a bishop who criticized him. He punished Sentinel-1 by revoking all their security clearances because Chris Krebs wouldn't back up Trump's false claims the 2020 election was stolen. He called criticism from one of his former aides treason, and his administration has fired intelligence officials for contradicting other false claims made by Trump. His administration revoked 800 student visas, targeting some of those students because of their activism. This is far from a complete list. In short, this administration has made a habit of retaliating in whatever way they think they can get away with. I'd call this a conspiracy, but it's happening out in the open. The administration is trying to push the idea that illegal immigration is an invasion, and therefore they're allowed to do whatever they want. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem went so far as to claim habeas corpus is the opposite of what it actually is. I always end with a suggestion of something you can do. On June 14th, a broad coalition is organizing protests to coincide with the military parade in D.C. For most of you, I'm sure there's a local No Kings protest already being organized near you. And if there's not, you could be the one to organize your community. Or maybe you don't want to organize. Maybe all you can do is stand on a street corner with one protest sign. And that's good too. The more cities that we show up in, the more the national government will see how broad this coalition is. 10 people showing up to protest in a small Midwestern town is just as impactful as thousands of people crowding the lawn of a Capitol building. Until next time, friends, take care of each other.